Against all odds, in the heart of West Africa, a small landlocked nation is defying expectations and making its mark on the global automotive industry. Burkina Faso, a country better known for its vast savannas and resilient people, has just unveiled its very own homegrown electric vehicle, a feat that has sent shockwaves through the traditional power centers of innovation. This is no mere publicity stunt. Rather, it is the culmination of a decades-long journey, fueled by the dreams and determination of Burkinabe engineers, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. In a country with no prior history of car manufacturing and limited access to foreign investment, they have managed to conceive, design, and build a cutting-edge electric vehicle from the ground up. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an update on global trends that shape our future. The story began in the early 2000s, when a group of university students in the capital, Ouagadougou, became captivated by the potential of electric mobility. Undeterred by the naysayers who scoffed at the idea of a landlocked African nation producing its own cars, they pooled their meager resources and set out to transform their vision into reality. Through years of tireless research, innovative problem-solving, and unwavering perseverance, they gradually made progress, overcoming one daunting challenge after another. Now, 2 decades later, their creation has rolled off the assembly line, a testament to the power of human ingenuity and the boundless possibilities that emerge when a people are driven by a collective sense of purpose and self-reliance. Burkina Faso's electric vehicle is more than just a feat of engineering. It is a bold declaration that Africa is ready to take its rightful place as a hub of technological innovation, defying the outdated stereotypes that have long constrained the continent's potential. But how did this small, unassuming country pull off such an impressive feat, leaving even some of the world's automotive giants in the dust? The answer lies in a combination of visionary thinking, strategic planning, and a refusal to be constrained by the limitations that have held back other African nations. At the heart of this revolution is Ata, a homegrown Burkinabe startup with big ambitions. Rather than waiting for foreign investors to bring the industry to them, Ata's founders took the challenge head-on. They designed the electric vehicle from the ground up, working with local suppliers for materials wherever possible, and engineered a battery system optimized for Burkina Faso's tough climate and road conditions, something that often eludes imported EVs. This approach isn't merely about transportation, it's about economic freedom. By building an entire industry from the scratch, Burkina Faso is generating thousands of jobs, from manufacturing and sales to maintenance and renewable energy. Skilled workers are being trained, new businesses are emerging, and the country is proving that African nations don't have to rely on expensive imports to move forward. Beyond the economic impact, Burkina Faso's electric car represents a bold shift towards sustainability. Instead of spending millions on fuel imports and foreign-made vehicles, the country is now investing in clean, locally produced alternatives. This means lower emissions, less reliance on oil, and more money staying within the country to fund schools, infrastructure, and healthcare. But perhaps the most incredible part is that Burkina Faso is achieving this without depending on foreign automakers for assembly or battery technology. Even some of the world's wealthiest nations are still tied to China for EV batteries, but Burkina Faso has skipped that reliance altogether by developing its own technology. This not only keeps profits within its borders but also lays the foundation for future technological advancements. This approach isn't entirely new. In fact, it bears a striking resemblance to the strategy China followed on its way to becoming an EV powerhouse. Decades ago, China was barely a player in the global auto industry, relying on imports and foreign expertise. But through consistent investment, strong leadership, and a commitment to self-reliance, it became the world's largest producer of electric vehicles. Could Burkina Faso be on a similar path? Could this single innovation trigger a chain reaction, inspiring other African nations to take control of their own industries? The challenge, of course, is turning this into more than just a one-time success. Many African countries have seen flashes of innovation, only to have them fade due to a lack of long-term support. The real test isn't just building a great car, it's building an industry that lasts. This is exactly what Burkina Faso intends to do. Under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traore, the country is making it clear that this is not just a headline-grabbing project, but the first step in a long-term plan for economic independence. The government is already moving to scale up production, establish a steady supply chain for EV components, and ensure that future models remain both high quality and affordable. And that's where things start to get really interesting. If Burkina Faso succeeds in mass-producing its own electric vehicles, it could completely rewrite its economic future. Right now, like many African nations, Burkina Faso spends billions importing foreign-made cars. If even a fraction of that money stays in the country, it could fund infrastructure, education, healthcare, and other essential services, while creating thousands of jobs in the process. This isn't just about making a car, it's about changing the game. For too long, Africa has been seen as a buyer, not a creator, of advanced technology. But that idea is being challenged. Burkina Faso's breakthrough isn't just an achievement, it's a statement, a declaration that African nations can innovate, build, and lead, instead of relying on expensive imports. The ripple effect is already starting. Countries like Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa have talked for years about launching their own electric vehicle industries, but the high costs and reliance on foreign-made parts have held them back. Burkina Faso has just shown them that there's another way, one where African nations can take matters into their own hands. Of course, building a single electric car is one thing, the real challenge is scaling up. Right now, Burkina Faso's vehicle is a proof of concept, but for it to make a real impact, it needs to be mass-produced, priced for the average consumer, and backed by a charging network that makes owning an EV practical. This leads to an even bigger question: can Burkina Faso's locally made electric car stand up to the giants of the industry? When people hear that an EV has been built in Burkina Faso, their first instinct may be doubt. How can a country with no experience in car manufacturing compete with the likes of Tesla, Volkswagen, or BYD, companies that have been perfecting EV technology for years and have access to cutting-edge factories and global supply chains? But Ata, the startup behind Burkina Faso's electric car, isn't trying to compete on their terms. It's not aiming to build a luxury vehicle loaded with AI features and self-driving tech. Instead, it's laser-focused on what actually matters for African drivers: affordability, durability, and practicality. Most electric cars on the market today are designed for smooth highways, abundant charging stations, and easy access to repair services, a reality that doesn't always exist in Africa. Burkina Faso's EV, on the other hand, is built for the continent's unique conditions. The suspension is designed to handle rough, unpaved roads, the battery system is engineered to withstand extreme heat without losing efficiency, and the frame is built for durability, not just sleek aesthetics. While a Tesla might struggle on dirt roads, Ata's EV is made for them. And then there's the biggest factor of all: price. One of the main reasons electric cars haven't taken off in Africa is cost. Even the cheapest Tesla is more expensive than what most people earn in years. Importing EVs from Europe or China doesn't help either, as shipping fees, high import taxes, and expensive maintenance make them unaffordable for the majority. But Burkina Faso has an advantage because its car is made locally. There are no massive import fees, no reliance on expensive foreign labor, and no complicated supply chain driving up costs. If production scales up, this could become the first affordable electric car designed specifically for African consumers. However, there's still one major hurdle that Burkina Faso needs to overcome: charging infrastructure. One of Tesla's greatest strengths isn't just its cars, it's the network of superchargers it has built across the world, making EV ownership practical. In many African countries, including Burkina Faso, charging stations are rare, and the existing electricity grid is often unreliable. Yet, this challenge also presents a massive opportunity. Burkina Faso has something most Western nations don't: abundant solar energy. Instead of building expensive, grid-dependent charging stations, the country could create a network of solar-powered charging hubs, making EVs sustainable even in areas with unreliable electricity. This wouldn't just solve the charging problem, it would make Burkina Faso a leader in green energy solutions for transportation. If Burkina Faso can ramp up production, keep prices low, and develop a charging infrastructure that works for Africa's unique energy landscape, its electric car could do more than compete. It could lead the African EV market. But this moment represents so much more than just a car. It's about rewriting the rules. For decades, Africa has been seen as a customer in the global market, buying, importing, and consuming, while industries that could have been built on African soil were outsourced, and the continent's vast resources were shipped away, only to be sold back as expensive finished products. Burkina Faso has just flipped that script. Instead of waiting for foreign automakers to set up shop, it has taken the lead, proving that African nations don't have to depend on outside forces to build high-tech industries. Nearly every car on African roads today was manufactured somewhere else, often second-hand, often overpriced. What if that changed? What if, instead of spending billions on imported vehicles, Africa built its own? This moment represents a blueprint for self-sufficiency, a spark that could ignite change in industries far beyond automobiles. One of the first sectors to feel the impact could be battery production. Right now, Africa is rich in the minerals needed for electric vehicle batteries, like lithium, cobalt, and nickel. But instead of refining and using these resources domestically, most of them are exported to factories in China, Europe, and the US. Burkina Faso's decision to develop its own EV technology challenges that model. If the country invests in battery production, it could become West Africa's hub for energy storage technology, cutting out middlemen, keeping more wealth within the continent, and reducing reliance on foreign supply chains. But the ripple effects could go even further. One of the biggest challenges with electric cars in Africa is charging infrastructure. Most countries don't have a widespread EV charging network, and many regions struggle with unstable electricity grids. Yet, this challenge also presents an opportunity. What if Africa didn't just build electric cars, but also powered them with renewable energy? The continent has some of the highest solar potential in the world, yet large-scale solar adoption remains limited. If more African nations start embracing electric vehicles, it could drive massive investment in solar farms and decentralized energy systems, creating a cleaner, more reliable power supply. This shift wouldn't just be about cars, it would mean a total transformation of the energy landscape. And then there's the workforce. Historically, high-tech industries in Africa have often relied on foreign expertise, from engineering to software development. But if African nations start producing their own EVs, that dynamic could change. Burkina Faso's homegrown electric vehicle is a testament to the power of African innovation and self-reliance. This achievement will spur demand for skilled local engineers, battery scientists, and software developers, empowering universities to adapt and prepare the next generation. As more African nations embrace electric mobility, it could position the continent as a global hub of technological innovation, reshaping perceptions and reducing economic dependence on foreign products. Beyond the economic implications, this shift towards clean transportation holds immense environmental benefits, helping Africa mitigate the impacts of climate change. Burkina Faso's success challenges the outdated assumptions about Africa's innovative potential and marks the start of a transformative chapter where the continent asserts its rightful place as a driver of global progress. Thanks for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like as well as a sub so more people can see this.